Here is the D.C. Metropolitan Police officer recounting his traumatic experience being brutally attacked by rioters on January 6th and blasted the, quote, whitewashed rhetoric that followed the violence. Take a listen.
It's been very difficult seeing elected officials and other individuals kind of whitewash the events of that day or downplay what happened. You know, some of the terminology that was used, like hugs and kisses and, you know, very fine people, is like very different from what I experienced and what my coworkers experienced. I experienced a group of individuals that were trying to kill me to accomplish, you know, their goal. And I think that sorry, Don. Man, I didn't think I'd get this emotional. Yeah, I mean, I experienced the most brutal, savage, hand-to-hand combat of my entire life, let alone my policing career, which spans almost 2 decades.
And that was Officer Michael Fanone. Yeah. Can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine?
And again, these terrorists that Donald Trump egged on, Willie, used the American flag to beat officers and beat them within an inch of their lives. And it's just staggering to me that you actually have people in the media on the right.
Are we debating this?
Trying to downplay this and trying to downplay, you know, that Officer Sicknick died of a stroke or had several strokes the next day. And you look at what all of the officers went through that were beaten by Donald Trump supporters. And it is sickening that Lindsey Graham, it is sickening that Kevin McCarthy, it is sickening that a lot of these people are supporting the terrorists, the rioters, the seditionists, the insurrectionists who were trying to overthrow the United States Constitution and stop the constitutional counting of votes.
Yeah, it's unforgivable, isn't it? I mean, when you look back and think about what led up to that day, the lies that were told for a couple of months leading up to that day, that it was a stolen election and these people had to stop the steal. They were driven there largely by the President of the United States, but by others, and on that day by senators like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. And I would just ask, do you stand with police? Do you stand with Officer Fanone, who was lying on the ground somewhere in there being beaten with an American flag, yelling, "I have kids, so that they wouldn't kill him? Do you stand with Officer Fanone? Listen to him. Listen to his interview with Don Lemon last night and think about what happened on that day and confront what led up to that day. And there are a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill who know exactly what happened on that day, who were scared on that day, but still won't tell the truth about what happened.
There are, of course, some Republicans who will tell the truth and who have told the truth. And Kevin McCarthy and Lindsey Graham, well, they're sort of in both camps. They told the truth early and then decided that they might face some political ramifications for showing character and speaking out against this insurrection and the people who inspired it. But that was then. This is now. And now Lindsey Graham wants you to know that there's a really cool golf package that you can be a part of if you spend enough money, and you can hang out with the guy that was responsible for this insurrection and the brutalization of police officers with American flags. I'm sorry, I already have weekend plans. It sounds like actually for patriots, people who love America, there's a lot better things they can do with their weekend.
Good Lord, this is sick.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.